What's going on, everyone? Chris from Pickdawgz.com here with the Wraparound. We're going to be breaking down the NHL action going down on Saturday, October 25th, 2025. If you like this content, make sure you smash that thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. Let me know your NHL picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily NHL power play or any of my action that I have on Saturday's card, whether it's college football and NHL, make sure that you jump on board. Remember to use the promo code PICK at checkout and get 15% off your purchase. Like I said, I have college football. Big play on the board today. My big play for football. It's been absolute money for the most part. We didn't cash it on Friday, but we've still been really solid with that for the better part of the NFL season and college football. We've got the NHL. I'm going to have my power play on the board. I'm also going to have a 5-pack from the NHL as well. So make sure that you check that out. But again, it's lots of money to be made. You can pair me up with one of your other favorite cappers, but remember to use that promo code PICK at checkout. Get 15% off. We also have our Inner Circle VIP services. Now, they're not for everyone. They are for people that make big bets, people with big bankrolls who are looking to take their betting to the next level and are looking for that one-on-one concierge-style service. Now, you can call or text the number in the description of this video below, but remember, this is our most expensive premium product, so just keep that in mind before texting the number. But if it's for you, it's an awesome product, and I can assure you guys you're going to absolutely love it. But we're here to talk about a 13-game NHL card from Saturday. Like I said, lots of money to be made here. I think that there's some definite landmines on the board, but definitely spots that we can exploit and make some money, load up that bankroll heading into another stacked Sunday of action. So make sure that you jump on, and let's not waste any more time. You guys know the drill. You ready? I'm ready. Let's get into it. Our first game takes us to the Xfinity Mobile Arena, where the Philadelphia Flyers take on the New York Islanders. It's an early puck drop, 12:30 Eastern, but I still think that there's value here with the New York Islanders, who, for my money, have been playing the better hockey, are not just laying juice with the Flyers, even though they are 3-1 at home this season. They've beaten Florida, Minnesota, and Seattle. They also struggled against Winnipeg. I got to give the Islanders their flowers. I mean, they've won 4 straight. They've scored a combined 20 goals in those 4 games. Looked really good against Detroit last time out. Now, yes, the majority of those games were at home, but from a talent perspective, I like what I'm seeing from the Islanders. They also have a clear edge in goaltending, in my opinion, as well. So I'm going to go towards the Islanders on the money line in this one to kick things off. Now we're going to the TD Garden for a game between the Boston Bruins and the Colorado Avalanche. And in certain spots, I would think that maybe there's value to be had with the Boston Bruins, catching a healthy plus money as a home dog. But now they've lost 6 in a row, and that's not to say that they haven't played tough opposition. The thing is, though, they've already lost to the Colorado Avalanche once this season. They've been giving up goals left and right. They just gave up 7 to the Anaheim Ducks at home. And now you're facing Colorado in a rematch. Colorado gone off to a great start to the year. Now, yes, they've dropped back-to-back games in overtime, but they've still yet to lose in regulation this season. I think the Avalanche get it done here. You can take the Avalanche on the money line, or you can take them in regulation if you want to drop that juice down to a minus 125, minus 130, but I'll still take the Avalanche to get the win over Boston in this one. Now we head to Scotiabank Arena for the rematch of the back-to-back from Friday, where the Buffalo Sabres pay a visit to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and Buffalo picked up the win in that game. And for me, I don't want to back Toronto right now, especially at this kind of price. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a Leafs fan, but they don't look great right now. They don't look strong out of the gate. They've lost 3 straight. They've given up a combined 14 goals in those 3 games. So I have my concerns with Toronto, but I still am not ready to buy into Buffalo just yet either, with a battle of the backups brewing here. It looks like it's going to be Caden Primo for the Toronto Maple Leafs and Colton Ellis for the Buffalo Sabres. I'm expecting some goals in this one. On a second half of back-to-back, yeah, you may have some tired legs, but you're also going to have them in the back end in defense. So I'm going to lean towards the over. I think you could easily see 7, 8, maybe 9 goals in this one when all is said and done. Now we're going to the Benchmark International Arena for this game between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Anaheim Ducks. And I can't tell you what's wrong with the Tampa Bay Lightning right now. They got off to just a slow start. I think that at a certain point it will turn around, but I'm also not about to lay this kind of price with the Tampa Bay Lightning just because of name brand and because they're the Lightning and because they're quote unquote due. They're 0-3 so far at home this season, and while I'm sure they'll break out of it at some point, I'm not laying minus 200 or chasing a puck line to find out. The Anaheim Ducks, they're coming off of back-to-back road wins over Boston and Nashville. They've done really well in those games. And, the thing about Anaheim is that you look at head-to-head, they've given the Tampa Bay Lightning some fits. The last 3 meetings, Anaheim's covered the plus 1.5 in all 3 games. They lost, at home to Tampa in Anaheim back in March 2024, 3-2. They won 4-1 in Anaheim last year, and then lost 4-3 in a shootout in Tampa just about a week and a half later. So I think that there's value here to be had with the Ducks, plus the 1.5 goals, maybe putting something on Anaheim money line as well in this one. Now we're going to the Amerant Bank Arena for this game between the Florida Panthers and the Vegas Golden Knights. And another game where, I don't know what's wrong with the Florida Panthers right now. They are 4-5, so they're at least in better standing than Tampa Bay right now, but they've also lost 5 of their last 6 games. Now you could say, well, maybe a lot of that has to do with the fact that, they were on the road, but then you get back home and you take your first loss at home this season against the Pittsburgh Penguins 5-3. The Vegas Golden Knights historically have been a team that plays much better at home than they do on the road, but they've gotten off to a great start on the road this season, 2-0-1. Now, granted, you played Calgary, Seattle, and San Jose, but right now the Vegas Golden Knights are in really great form, winners of 4 straight. The offense is there, the defense and the goaltending has been stepping up, and I think that Vegas getting a great price here is the play in this one until the Florida Panthers kind of wake out of their post-Stanley Cup slumber. Now we're going to the Grand Casino Arena for this game between the Minnesota Wild and the Utah Mammoth. And, Minnesota, again, team that's kind of started out slow. Normally, this is a Minnesota team that plays really sound, solid hockey, but in their last games on this 5-game road trip that they were just on, they scored 2 goals or less 4 times. They scored 3 goals or less in all 5 games. And I don't know if I trust them here against a Utah team that's been playing some really good defensive hockey. Even on the road, they've been solid. They were solid in Nashville to start the year. Even in losing efforts, they held Chicago and Colorado to 3 and 2 goals respectively. The offense broke out against St. Louis last time out, and I just think that this is a solid matchup for Utah. I mean, Utah won 3 of the 4 meetings against Minnesota last year, and said they've gotten off to quite the start this year as well. So again, not laying a hefty kind of price with Minnesota just because they're due to kind of turn things around. I'm going to take the Mammoth in this one. I'm going to take Utah on the money line. Now we're going to Rogers Arena for this game between the Vancouver Canucks and the Montreal Canadiens. And, another game where I think that Montreal has the value here. It's a coin flip game, and, obviously the line definitely reflects that. It's only a lean for me towards Montreal here, but it was just kind of the eye test. I didn't love what I saw from Vancouver in the last 2 games of that road trip in Pittsburgh and Nashville. Held in check offensively. Last time we saw them at home, they got beat up by the St. Louis Blues. For me, Montreal, same kind of deal. They just gave up 6 to Edmonton, but they still managed to cover the puck line there. We haven't seen the Montreal Canadiens lose by more than a goal since their opening night loss to Toronto. They've been really, really strong, in terms of competition there. So I'm gonna go with Montreal. It's gonna be a lean towards Montreal, but I'm still gonna take them on the money line here. Now we're going to Little Caesars Arena for this game between the Detroit Red Wings and the St. Louis Blues. And if you've followed the wraparound, you know my thoughts on St. Louis. I just really don't trust this team, from a consistency perspective. They've now dropped back-to-back games in 3 of their last 4. They've split their last 6, but this is kind of what we've seen from St. Louis. Kind of like win 2, lose 1, win 1, lose 2. It's all over the place. The Detroit Red Wings got absolutely demolished in their 2 road games, in the back-to-back, losing to Buffalo and the Islanders by a combined score of 11-4. But at home, the Red Wings have been a lot better this season, and I think that Detroit gets the job done on home ice in this one. It's a lot easier to back them there, especially when you're getting them at a coin flip price. So I'm going to roll with the Detroit Red Wings on the money line in this one. Now we're going to the PPG Paints Arena for this game between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Columbus Blue Jackets. And I really liked what I've seen from Pittsburgh this season. 6-2 straight up to start the year. Maybe I was a little bit quick to write them off. They looked really good on that road trip. They beat LA, San Jose, and Florida. They also had a home win over Vancouver. Now they go back home where, yeah, they've gone 2-1 this season, but Columbus, even though they're 2-1 on the road, I'm still not really buying into the Blue Jackets just yet. Now, granted, you look at Columbus's schedule; they played a really tough one early on at Minnesota, home against the Devils, Avalanche, and Lightning. At Dallas, picked up a win. At home against Washington, took a loss. But I don't think it gets easier here against Pittsburgh. I think that the Penguins can find a way to get the job done on home ice in this one. So I'm going to take the Penguins. I'm going to take them on the money line. Now we're going to the Capital One Arena for a game between the Washington Capitals and the Ottawa Senators. Another one where it's just like I like the Capitals at home in this one. Now, granted, the last 4 meetings between these two teams have all needed more than 60 minutes. So keep that in the back of your mind. But you have two teams that have just been trending in different directions. I mean, Ottawa's lost 5 of their last 7, while the Capitals have won 6 of their last 7. A lot of their games that they've been winning have been on home ice. I mean, they beat Seattle, Minnesota, Tampa Bay, took a loss to Vancouver, but have still been playing just some really strong hockey. The concerning thing for me with Ottawa is that they've lost, a couple recent games, but those games came at home where they were a much stronger team last year and where they relied on their home ice advantage to make their run to the postseason. Last time we saw Ottawa on the road, they gave up 8 goals to the Buffalo Sabres. And if you followed the wraparound, you know my thoughts on Washington. I really like this goaltending tandem in goal for the Capitals. And even on a back-to-back here, we saw for the Capitals, we saw Logan Thompson. I still think Charlie Lindgren is a more than capable backup for Washington in goal. So give me the Capitals in this one. I'm going to take them on the money line. Now we're going to the Bridgestone Arena for this game between the Nashville Predators and the Los Angeles Kings, two teams that haven't necessarily been on my good side for much of the season, but I think that it's very telling that the Kings, despite their inconsistencies at times, have been, are favored on the road here. They're looking like the Kings of a couple of years ago that were road warriors, and they picked up back-to-back wins on the road over Dallas and St. Louis. Now, they have played 3 straight games, I should say outside of 60 minutes. They've needed overtime in each of their last 3 games, but I'll tell you, like I said, the Kings have looked competitive. I think this is going to be a competitive game as well, but Nashville, the goal scoring issues are back. I mean, they've scored 2 goals or less in 4 straight games. And while I do think that the Los Angeles Kings are a team that's designated for some defensive and goaltending regression this year, they're not going to be completely inept. And I think that the Kings can win this one on the road here. Again, I think that it's very telling that LA is favored in this spot. So give me the Kings in this one and a lean on the money line. Now we're going to the American Airlines Center for a game between the Dallas Stars and the Carolina Hurricanes. And this is a tough one because these are 2 quality teams. 2 teams that I think are definitely teams in their respective conferences that can make sustained runs in the postseason. But I'm going to roll with the Carolina Hurricanes in this one. The Stars have been very streaky to start the year. They started the year 3-0, looking really strong, and have now lost 4 in a row. You welcome Carolina to town, who is in the last game of their road trip, and usually that can be a spot to fade some teams, but I like how Carolina's been playing. They did stumble in Vegas, but bounced back with a shootout win in Colorado. Not an easy place to go on the road and win. They're 4-1 on the road already this season. And like I said, while Dallas is a tough team to knock off, and they're still a quality offense, I still think that the Carolina Hurricanes are on par and right now just playing much better hockey. So to get the better team, I should say the team playing better hockey in a coin flip matchup, getting them a slightly more favorable price, I think is where I want to be here. I'm going to lean towards the Carolina Hurricanes on the money line in this one. Our final game on Saturday's card takes us to Climate Pledge Arena, where the Seattle Kraken take on the Edmonton Oilers. And the Seattle Kraken 4-2-2 already to start the year, definitely in a nice run of form in terms of being competitive. Now they have dropped 4 of their last 6 games, but that was on a road trip. And if you follow the Seattle Kraken, they've been a much stronger home team over the course of their time in the NHL, their brief time in the NHL. And the Edmonton Oilers, they got a great win over Montreal last time out, but I still have my serious concerns about the goaltending for Edmonton. They've given up 4 or more goals in 4 of their last 5 games. I think this could be a spot for Seattle to have some value. They finally got off the schneid head-to-head against the Edmonton Oilers, picking up a 6-1 win in Seattle when these 2 teams met last March. I think that the Kraken can potentially find a way to get it done here. So I'm going to take the Kraken here, plus the goal and a half, and I'll put a little bit on Kraken money line to round things out. That's it. That's all your NHL action for Saturday, October 25th, 2025. Again, if you like this content, make sure you smash that thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. Let me know your NHL picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my NHL power play or any of the college football action I have on Saturday's card, make sure that you jump on board. Remember to use the promo code PICK at checkout and get 15% off your purchase. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys.